to Crime in Court. I'm Heather, and I'm here with an update about the Kansas um, Chiefs fans. So remember this, well, this happened back in January, and the beginning of January, three friends were found deceased in the backyard of another friend's rental home. And I did a first video on this, so this is actually an update to that video. We have some toxicology reports. The preliminary toxicology results have been provided to us. So here's an article from People by Emily Palmer. We're going to talk about what they found. So, are criminal charges likely after illegal substances were found in the bodies of three deceased Kansas City Chiefs fans? Well, let's see. The tagline here says toxicology reports or results reportedly note C and F were in the men's systems. Just so you know, I have to use code words because YouTube has a guideline policy. I don't know if it's like in stone, but it is if you say certain words that people may find offensive, then they don't send your videos out to other people. Like, it won't get seen out there in the wide world. So I have to say cover words. If you've been watching any of my videos, I try. It's really hard to do sometimes, but moving on, we'll continue. This is a picture of the three friends who were found in the backyard. And they were, it was a cold weekend that, they had been found. So let's dive into what this article says. So three men were found deceased in their friend's backyard January 9th, 2 days after they watched a Kansas City Chiefs football game together. Police have not confirmed the preliminary toxicology report, which indicates the men had C and F in their systems. Police have filed the case as a homicide investigation and have not announced any criminal charges at this time. So, several weeks after three Kansas City Chiefs fans were found unalive in their friend's backyard, early toxicology results reportedly indicate the men had CNF in their systems, according to reports by Fox 4KC and TMZ, which cite sources familiar with the results. So, multiple sources are citing those. Police have said multiple times that no foul play is suspected in their unalivings. But as the mysterious case garners speculation from both the public and grieving family members who say they still don't have answers from police, legal experts weigh in on what the evidence means and how the ongoing case could proceed in the court of law. Any quote, any F in the systems of these men is pretty serious and suggests something bad happened to them. The question is, who do you want to charge? End quote. And that comes from Ben Trachtenberg, an associate dean and professor at the University of Missouri School of Law. So he thinks because this F was found in their systems, then something nefarious may have been, or suspicious at least, was going on. And then because of that, is it criminal? And if so, do you charge someone in the case? So going from left to right, we have Clayton McGeeney, David Harrington, and Ricky Johnson. The three men, David Harrington, Clayton McGeeney, and Ricky Johnson, were found by McGeeney's fiance, who came across their frozen bodies 2 days later while searching for them January 9th. So she actually came to the house. She must have known where they were, or somehow she got coordinates from maybe an iPhone, I don't know, or she knew that they were there. So Jordan Willis, who hosted the party, has spoken through an attorney saying that in the days between the football game and the discovery of his friends' bodies, he did not notice the men in the backyard and he didn't notice the cars that were still in the neighborhood. So even neighbors had noticed that the cars had been sitting there. So it's a little strange that he didn't notice them, but his excuse was that he was inside working from home the whole time, so he didn't leave the house, which I get. I understand that. I totally don't like to leave the house unless I have to, so I get that. But you would also not have to look out the windows at all, which to me, I look out windows constantly when I, take a break, stretch, look outside, knowing my surroundings, just wanting to see the outdoors too and connect with nature. I guess he didn't do any of that. I'm not insinuating, I'm just saying he must not have, looked out any of the windows if he didn't notice them. Anyway, so friends and family of the victims told WDAF that they reportedly attempted to contact Willis, so the homeowner, about his missing friends before their bodies were found. However, in a statement previously obtained by People, John Pacerno, a lawyer representing Willis, claimed his client, quote, did not receive any, end quote, texts or calls about his friends. So he's denying that he received anybody reaching out to him saying that they were looking for the three friends. So the attorney said his client did receive a message on Facebook from a loved one, but claimed Willis didn't see it until after being contacted by the police. The toxicology report has not been publicly released, and the Kansas City Police Department has not confirmed the reported results as of Friday. In a statement to People Friday, Elena Gonzalez, a spokeswoman for the department, said there were no plans at this time to release, quote, additional details or reports of this case, end quote, to the media. And Gonzalez also called the case an ongoing homicide investigation. So, tragedies are not always criminal, Trachtenberg notes, and even if a crime was committed, a viable criminal case would hinge on what the remaining two men after another left earlier. So we talked about that in the first video. There was a fifth person who left before everybody. And when he left, he said they were all sitting around watching Jeopardy, I think it was. So, strange. Maybe he has some insights that could help us figure out what happened that night too. So the two remaining men. Sorry. Let me start that over. So tragedies are not always criminal. And even if a crime was committed, a viable criminal case could hinge on what the remaining two men who survived the party might know and what they are willing to tell the police. So that's a big deal too. So if they were all doing substances that night, maybe no one wants to come forward because they don't want to implicate themselves, and that's likely a plausible scenario that happens all the time where, everyone in a group is doing the same thing and might be technically illegal, but then other things happen and people wind up hurt or whatever, and then you have to confess everything, unfortunately. Just to get to the bottom of the truth, you have to know what's going on. All right, so there are a couple of possibilities of what happened here, Trachtenberg says, listing off hypothetical reasons for the men's endings. Quote, 1, they knew they were taking illegal substances and something about the substances went horribly wrong. That has certainly happened before, end quote. Public health experts blame F for the majority of unalivings in the United States. F is, rising, and people ending themselves from meth or from F is a little, things are, it's becoming more prevalent. Oftentimes the person unknowingly consumes it, which is sometimes laced with other things. So that could be a big problem, especially if you're doing a lot of other things and then it's laced with this F, and then you have just your body can't handle it. So it's a possibility. Um, Quote from Trachtenberg says, another possibility is that someone these three men had another possibility is that somehow these three men had these substances in their system completely unknowingly. The idea that someone slipped a substance into something that they were eating or drinking is also possible. So yes, that's another possibility. You can't just say that, I mean, you can't just go out and blame Willis. Um, you can't immediately without any evidence, anyways. All right, so in cases like these, Trachtenberg says state and federal prosecutors have a track record of bringing criminal charges of manslaughter and even the M word. So it could even escalate to first or second, probably second degree M, if that were the case. So he warns such cases, if there was somebody liable or culpable, is what I meant to say. So, but he warns such cases often require someone with inside knowledge of what happened. Quote, usually in an ordinary sale of substances, neither the buyer nor the seller has any interest in talking to the police. It's not likely there's an envelope hanging around with the seller's business card. Yeah, true. All right, so end quote. Physical and digital evidence in the case is also important. Trachtenberg says if substances are found on the premises, they could be tested and potentially even traced back to a seller. So there might have been someone lacing things and it got to them, and they could track that back if they had it. They could possibly track it back to who or what, what organization of people were selling it. So additionally, investigators will likely comb through phone and social media records to determine if and when calls, texts, and other messages were sent and who knew what when. So yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that they're going to get Willis's text messages, the text messages of all the victims, and of the fifth person as well. I bet you they're going to get all the communications between them to see what else was going on that day, that evening. Because as far as the family members knew, they were just getting together to watch a football game at a friend's house, and then they never came home. So as the toxicology report, Demi Mafia, that's an interesting name, a clinical pharmacist specialist based in San Francisco, warns it's too early to conjecture. Quote, we have to wait until the results are finalized. Only then could a toxicologist say if the combination of those substances at those doses led to their ends or if it at least contributed to it, end quote. And Trachtenberg agrees, quote, all of that is tremendously important if someone is bringing a criminal case, end quote. Yeah, so definitely we have to wait until the final toxicology report comes in, but it seems like there are rumors are going around coming from sources, I guess, that are close to the case that have been saying that certain substances, C and F, were found in their preliminary results. So, I mean, at this point, it's too early to necessarily say, but at least we kind of have some kind of understanding, perhaps, of what was going on that night. And if they had these substances in their bodies and they went outside, it's very possible that they just didn't feel the cold. And then their hearts slow down. I mean, they're on substances already that are going to make their heart slow down. And especially in the cold, it's going to. And if they're drinking as well. So all of that combined, plus I don't believe any of them have had coats on either. So all of those contributing factors, I'm assuming, At least, it appears to be that way so far. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that there was foul play involved? Do you think that they just OD'd on certain drugs that were in their systems? Was it, um, an F overdose or what? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like, and I'll keep you guys posted the next time we find out anything that's going on with this case. All right, I'll talk to you later. Make sure you hit that subscribe so you find out what their final results are. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.